friend or so. So yeah, very cool to see him coming back. And hey, finals of his first big WardiTV event back. Well, he played in the map contest, but we'll slide the map contest aside to create the hype for this one. WardiTV Summer Championship 2021 Grand Finals. Winner of this walks away with $1,500. Second place already has guaranteed, so both of these players have guaranteed $750, a chance to double their money with this best of 7. As we start in the bottom left-hand side, the red Terran player from Dragon Phoenix Gaming. It's Cure. He's a beast, though, in online tournaments, of course, Cure, and that's why this is going to be a very difficult series for our blue Protoss player. In the top right corner of the map, we do have Classic. It's just not an easy series to play out at all, right? I mean, this is going to be really a challenge for Classic. I think he's going to be... Well, he's going to struggle every step of the way, I think. Cure is not going to make it easy for him. And I don't say that in kind of like a, ooh, I think he's still the underdog because he's just back. No, I say this because I know how good Cure can be. I know how Cure's played against him lately. And while Classic has had some good PvT results, against Cure, it's just not quite been there, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just going to very quickly do a quick little bit of fact-checking here, but I'm pretty sure, playing the last few days, Cure 5-0'd him in a best-of-9 show match. I wouldn't say a 5-0 sounds very dramatic, but a 5-0 to me sometimes can be just as meaningful as a 3-0, because sometimes when you're 3-0 down in a best-of-9, the next two maps just kind of continue onwards, right? Like, you know what I mean? I think what's more prevalent is that we also saw Cure 2-1 against him in the ESL Open Cup at the start of this month, and 2-0 against him in GSL qualifiers. That said, I say start of this month, start of August, I'm forgetting it's September. That is a month ago, and Classic has come a long way in this month. A lot of better results, warming up a little bit. Maybe he is in some kind of shape to put up a fight against Cure here in this best of 7. That's going to be a tough part as well, right, though? This is a best of 7. This is not just a best of 5. I mean, I say obviously best of 3s is the most chance of an upset. Best of 5s, still tough, but hey, you can do it. Best of 7, you've got to go the distance. You've got to play on all the maps. Beckett Industries will be map 2 of this series. That's a map that's immediately difficult for a Terran to win. For Protoss to win, I'm sorry. So you've got to be able to win on your opponent's maps. It's not just your best maps at stake. You've got to give it your all here. And losing 2 probes early to the first Reaper of the game, that ain't a pretty way for things to go. Now, the Reaper at least goes down, but it got everything. 2 probes and a scout. Once you've got 2 probes and a scout, I don't think you're really missing much else, as this Adept is going to make its way down to the bottom side. So down to the south we go. Showing up towards a bunker, which is going to be, well, in place to keep the Adept away. This Adept going to shade up in toward the main base, and is going to go down towards the front there, as we see an SCV taking some damage. The Hellion and other Marine trying to come around as well. The Adept wanting to shade back up. And we do have those Marines just putting some good damage out on the Adept. It's going to continue to shade away back up through to the top side. We do have our Oracle already popped out from Classic, so going to go double Oracle to start off the PvT. 3 Oracles, the magic number in this matchup to obviously go in and obviously one-shot SCVs, one-shot probes. Man, this is not good for Classic. 2 more probes going down. This Hellion is going to search for at least 1 more kill. The Oracle turns around to defend it. Oh no, and you've lost 4 workers as well. So your Oracle isn't on the map being aggressive. You now lost 6 workers total in the game. And obviously this is Classic's map choice as well. He said, hey, out of all the maps in the map pool, I want to play Jagannatha. Like, this is the map I'm committing to. And, well, that's the map he's committing to. And, I mean, to lose your own map pick right away, it just puts a little bit more pressure on. Not impossible to win this series, losing your first map pick. We've seen it happen all the time. We see plenty of series where players trade out and they win each other's maps. But it just puts a bit more pressure on, because then you go into Beckett map 2, and then you're kind of already feeling like, oh god, I gotta win on your map pick to make sure I don't get 0-2 down. It ain't easy, so not a strong start from Classic. Bit of a rough one, especially when you're playing like a Stargate opener. Taking damage like that is really costly, because it's not like you have a large kind of strong ground army kind of going for you right now. No. You have some air units, and especially against what is now currently a 3-rack setup, air units don't really do that much either, especially if you're going to get overwhelmed and these Marines can focus down the Oracles in a fight. That part of it's going to be a little bit rough, as we do see Stimpack and combat shields going to be coming through. So getting those upgrades completed in the near future. Just going to be seeing a couple of oracles. Sat down on the bottom, and yeah, Kira is going to go for a bit of Marine Widowmine action to the top. Obviously, don't blame him. Completely expect him to be pushing here. The Stalkers, can they do enough? I mean, they do not have Blink, and it's not like the Twilight Council's like research and Blink. The Twilight's barely started, so the Twilight only just now, like halfway done. Oh no, it's kind of bad for Classic. I mean, he's going to come through here, and I gotta admit, just stepping forwards to fight this more than anything actually might be kind of his biggest win. And he actually does a lot right away. That Phoenix puts itself in danger to lift up a Marine. You know, what I think Classic did very right here that Cure was not expecting is I think Classic built a lot of units off of no tech. And that's why the Twilight is late, because he really amassed units. And because Cures expect him to be trying to get a Twilight up while he takes a third Nexus, you know, and he expects these Marines hence to be able to do damage off of the probes he's killed earlier, because of that, he wasn't really ready for this. I do feel like Classic came way too far across the map, though. I mean, this is just asking to get hit by reinforcements, and obviously the reinforcement wave, when you don't have tech, you don't have a blink away, you don't have reinforcements here yourself, that's not really going to go as well. And that should be, I mean, if not every single Stalker dies, then yeah, he'd be very lucky, but every single Stalker dies, and that's where Classic does make the mistake. The initial pushback, pretty good. Was still going to be difficult from there, but I feel like it gave him some hope at least. But just went too far across the map, stood somewhere he shouldn't have been. And at some point, you know, fading the kind of confidence in the game obviously backfires, because at the end, he just says, well, I don't believe you can actually be here, right? Yeah, okay, you pushed me back initially, but you've not shown me any tech, you've not shown me you have blink, right? You've only shown me units, and I'm the one with the units now. And hence able to make the play. Just like that. Is that Bio Army coming through, and a couple Stalkers getting chased back? Phoenix gonna get shot down? No, Phoenix gonna survive as a couple Stalkers already dropping. Sarkon gets picked up as well. I mean, yeah, there's too many Bio units in the end, and Q does take the first game of this grand final. Cool ideas from Classic. It was series. We start in the bottom left-hand side with the Terran, who takes the first map, puts himself up into the lead, our red Terran. It is Cure. Up against in the upper right corner of the map. Our blue Protoss player is going to be Classic. Alright, game 2 then. Let's see how this sets up, as we do have some probes chrono boosting, but most importantly, a pylon across the map, and it looks like we are going to get ready for, I mean, this just seems like a second gateway. This pylon doesn't really make sense for much else. Alright, well, I like this because A, bit of a Terran map. So to do something early in the game that can just give you the momentum and give you the lead and, you know, put the Terran off from where they want to be, that alone is already, I think, very powerful to do. If there's a map to do it on, it's better to do on a map which might not be good for you in the mid-game, going in a standard way, right? So, I like that Classic says, hey, you know what, let's play a little bit more of the aggressive stance with the 2 gates. Obviously, you come up here as Cure, but you see a second gas coming down, you see the Cyber Core. You do see, obviously, a missing pylon as well, so there's a lot of information you're already picking up from as Cure as you move into that main. So moving up into that, just going to be seeing the probe of Classic moving back around, and our 2 adepts of Classic continuing up. So he's actually going adepts, which I feel like in itself is kind of funky. I wonder what he's expecting Cure to do, and right now Cure just making kind of Reaper Marine, now a bunker. The adepts can trade okay, but what I do wonder about, like, their overall pushing power isn't quite the same as, like, if this was Stalkers. They are cheaper, so you can build up tech behind this a little sooner. Obviously, we don't have a Nexus yet, remember, as first adept goes down. That was obviously just a step too far. This is already not going pretty, as now we're going to go for a Stargate, so we're now going to make our way towards something extra off of this proxy. But losing the first Adept already just isn't really, I mean, that's just rough, and now CC is finished. This Adept is not going to do anything to delay the command center either, so this just gets up without a hitch. And obviously, yeah, it's all well and good being like, well, guess what, guys? I've got myself a Stargate proxy, but that Stargate proxy is delayed from usual, and you've not really done anything to justify your Stargate being late here. If you'd killed a bunch of SCVs, delayed the natural, maybe gotten a Marine or two, sure. You know, then you can say, oh, well, the Stargate's late, but you know what? It's going to be powerful still because you've already done good damage. You've thrown Cure off from where he wanted to be. A couple of probes have gone down from Classic as we do see the Adepts coming through. A couple of Marines being picked away at. An SCV that is going to go down as well. So that's a couple of SCVs taken down. Cyclone still coming up from Cure as we just see the, again, Adept, the Phoenix, all of this coming through. It's going to see our Viking just on the way up as well. Second barracks coming down from Cure. Bringing the Adepts to the front will put on some light pressure, but Cure's doing the exact right thing, just abandoning up into the main base, right? Just, you know, saying, well, you know, whatever, seize the Nexus time, and etc. Doesn't need to hold the natural and mine from the natural just yet. What's interesting is this is Phoenix, and that's going to be really intriguing, because this is almost not even like a proper, like, it's not even like the aggression you kind of expect. It's kind of like a, I'm just going to continue play from Classic. Oh, it's very funky, and now he's going to get himself a Nexus mining while Cure is obviously up on one base. The good news is, of course, while you're on one base, it is still two orbitals, so you are still dropping double mule. Well, in your main base mines out very quickly, though, so you've got to be somewhat careful about that. Usually there's a reason you drop your mules on the natural, and that's just to keep that main base going for as long as possible, basically. Two more Stalkers coming up this ramp. Adept's going to shade again. I mean, this army of the Terran is way too much to fight at the moment. Maybe if you lift the tank up with the Phoenix, though? You do need to lift that siege tank, though, right? He's going to get it with the Stalkers. The Phoenix damage, too, it adds up. These Adepts have been a wonderful buffer, but they are now gone. The Phoenix get rid of the Cyclone. Classic actually having a pretty reasonable trade as Pure try to retake the natural. That is the power of the Phoenix. They can just, you know, basically take your main tech units out of the equation immediately. And now you're in a position where, well, you're going to have to play defensive on one base again while your opponent is on two. And Kira is in a bit of trouble. I think credit to Classic. This build actually worked out pretty okay. This attack was actually wonderful. And he's done enough to buy himself some more time. And you can see the scan just came down from Kira over here too. He's even asking himself, hey, like, are you all in? Like, what kind of a position am I in? How desperately do I need to get back down to the low ground? Like, how eager am I to get back to the low ground, to that position, work on that and stuff? That's a good question. Stalker's hanging around the left. Phoenix hanging around here as well. I'm going to see the two Adepts are going to go for their shade forward. Going to commit same idea as before, right? As the tanks unsiege, resiege. I think in this case you don't want to commit the Phoenix to lift the tanks because you just know they're going to be in too much trouble. So pulling the Phoenix back, but still 3 more SCVs. I mean, you still got Stalkers hitting the command center, setting it on fire. We're going to lift the tank up again. This time we do dive with the Phoenix. A little bit too much, maybe? I don't even know. Honestly, I like these continued trades from Classic because SCVs aren't mining properly. You know, Marines can't even trade that well when they don't have stim against these Stalkers. Finally, 2 tanks on the low ground might actually be the point at which this just gets properly shut down. 3 Phoenix have died. When you look at resources lost, it is a little bit favorable to Classic, but not by a huge margin. But when we look at the income graph, look at how much more Classic has been able to mine recently. And that's all because his natural has been up and running, while Kira's obviously just been on one base. It takes a little advantage now as he gets the natural back up and he drops triple mule. Obviously, triple mule isn't ordinary in this situation because you've only got 2 CCs, so you should only really ever be on double mule. So the little income lead we're starting to see isn't going to last forever. That means that Classic is still mining well as he takes the 3rd base. He's going to go again, the Adept shade in. I do like the Adept shading in, though. I mean, every time the Adept shade in, you've got to remember that they are essentially putting a lot of tankiness in the front line of the army. The tank count going down again. And I think one thing we've not really talked about is how important it is to keep the tank count from getting up. On a map like Beckett, where the terrain really favors a lot of tank positions, if you can stop the tank count ever being a decent number, you are doing a lot for yourself. You're delaying the Terran push by a long, long margin, as we are going to see a medevac not quite going down. He's going to go back in for it, though. Surely, Stim is done, and these Stalkers are now in trouble. Maybe Classic overestimating this a little bit. Oh, no. He didn't quite realize the Stim timing, and that's a big problem, as SCVs are chasing too, and uh-oh, that Phoenix is going to go down. Not that it would have made much of a difference. We're going to depower this gateway. Classic, I think, needs to cancel a third base. Going to try and battery the third base. The thing is, these Marines are very low HP, so if they stim again, they're going to be really almost broken, but is there even close to being enough army supply here from Classic to actually defend this now that Stim is here? Combat Shield's about to finish up. These Marines about to jump up 10 HP each. Cancel the third base, cancel that battery as well, obviously. Yeah, I mean, no doubt about it, that is the correct move to make. You just can't keep this location alive. That's rough, though, because obviously now Classic is kind of struggling to get himself together the tech that he needs. He's missing the charge. That would go a long way to helping out as well. SCVs, Marines attack, all thinking about the kind of push forward here. Tank siege is up. Battery's taking some damage. We do have ourselves a little bit of army from Classic moving across the map, and the few Marines coming through. Just gonna see the tank and Marines hitting that those gateways. Currently, a super battery is saving other batteries. To be fair, charge just finished, so if there's anything you were waiting for, it probably was charge. I guess another warping really is. Here we go into this army. I mean, it's mostly Marines, but realistically, the Marine count is very good. Siege tank hasn't gone down, and Cure is going to break across the map to tie to take this 2-0 lead in the series. I mean, really loved the build from Classic. He just needed to transition a little sooner. Stim finishing was a godsend from Cure. It was an absolute saving grace, and that is going to be Cure taking the 2-0 lead. I love the build from Classic. I love what happened. Yeah, 2-0 right now. Guys, I just want to go on a little spiel at the very start of this game. I'm not going to be given the chance on my SCV on the map already. I'm going to do it anyway very quickly, as Q is bottom right and Classic is top left. This is a WardiTV event. This is pretty much going to be our last shout out for it. That this is obviously an event supported by you guys. If you guys have loved this event, if you enjoyed watching this tournament, enjoying the stream with all of our own games from our own tournament, please do consider supporting. Every single sub we guarantee at least $1 off will go into our WardiTV tournament prize pools. We obviously have more tournaments planned for the rest of the year still as well. So anytime you sub, whether there's a gifted sub, which is 20% off right now, a first time sub, which is 20% off right now, all of those are all going to be going towards the prize pool as well. So do check that out if you want to support. And the only other thing I wanted to say is if you want to support the prize pool directly, 100% of what you pledge on the Patreon page goes into WardiTV tournament prize pools as well. We are 3 Patrons away from hitting 100 Patrons on Patreon again, which is freaking awesome. Love to see all the support for the tournaments. So, yeah, do check that out. Just wanted to make those mentions. And obviously, we have a Proxy Rax here in the natural of Classic. As Kira is at that kind of point where he's like, well, you know, I've got a 2-0 lead. This is his next map pick. Why don't I do something funky? Oh, Classic. Good scout. Puts his probe on the minerals and sees the barracks right away. So, really good information for Classic to begin with. But this was a Nexus before core, so he's late on the cyber core production, which means he's going to be late already on building a Stalker or anything. Oh, that's going to be kind of rough for him, isn't it? That's going to be kind of brutal, quite frankly, as we do see this bunker coming up. Let's see what happens. Guys, thank you so much for the subs and the love and gifts. I'm just going to turn the sub sound down slightly, just for the case of this being the grand finals. I appreciate you guys understanding. I will shout everyone out properly after the game. Reaper comes through, and we are going to be seeing a drop in a grenade, and we will see one probe going down. The Zealot coming around, looking to try and pick away at that Reaper, of course. So looking for that right here is Reaper taking quite a bit of damage. Drops another grenade down, and just going to see the couple probes chased away for the moment. Reaper is being chased still by the Zealot. And the Reaper Zealot does get the Reaper, at least to leave the base. And finally, a Stalker shows up. Of course, whoa! Whoa! Reaper goes down! Okay, well, that's one less unit in the bunker, so that does help. Of course, because the barracks is behind the natural here, you do just have reinforcements that will continue to join this bunker, which means more damage coming in for a while. That's going to be a pretty big deal, as we do have these few Marines just nibbling away at that Nexus, doing a good job of this so far. Oh man, this is going to be a pretty sick little something, right? I mean, this is going to be tough to deal with. Obviously, you need to get this SCV. If you don't get the SCV, it will just continuously repair. The Zealot will go forward here too. The problem is if the Zealot goes forward, it won't be in range of the battery to get healed like the Stalkers are. So then you end up kind of, probably losing the Zealot. So is that worthwhile? Is that something you want to do? That's something you've got to consider for sure. We do pick off the SCV. The bunker taking some damage. The SCV being gone is a big help. And it looks as though Classic will defend this without losing too much else. As he will have one Stalker talking it down. The other one starts to get away. The other one is surrounded. Uh-oh. Oh, battery, please. Yep. Thank you very much. Just about enough. Only one Stalker lost. But already a very, very good defense there. A very, very good defense. Not defense, Wardy. Oh my god, the words are struggling today. A very, very good attack there. An opening in general out of Cure. As a Dark Shrine goes down behind the main base. And behind Dark Shrine, I mean, he's up 8 workers. He's up 8 workers. He's down in army supply. A Widow Mine drop coming through. This Widow Mine drop is massive because it's going to give you a scout. So it's going to be your way of actually seeing what the hell's going on here. You're going to be able to fly in and be like, oh wait, a Dark Shrine. Well, clicked on that immediately. Do we even let the Dark Shrine finish in this case? I think we probably cancel it. If you can clean up the Widow Mine drop. If you can't clean up the Widow Mine drop, you may as well keep it. Because then it's going to be seen, if he's going to know if you cancel it, right? So at least if you keep it, you can force him to actually build defenses. And DTs are not a bad thing to have going on from there. No, he's going to cancel it anyway. Well, I guess you don't necessarily still know for sure as Cure if it's cancelled or not just yet. New Widow Mine drop in the natural, though. And Cure's having a pretty good time at the moment, as he's going to get a couple probes here with these Widow Mine drops, saving multiple of the Widow Mines as well. Only one Widow Mine. Oh, no! 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 Oh, my goodness. He could have totally retargeted this Widow Mine onto that clump of probes. I don't think Classic knew that there was one more Widow Mine left. He just ran his Stalkers in without thinking about it. Oh, no. And now he dropped back into the main. More mining time lost, of course. And now you confirm that, okay, no Dark Shrine as well. Well, yeah. This is obviously just continuing through. Looking really good for Kira. I think Kira's going to start running away with this series, guys. If he gets to a 3-0 lead, his map pick for map 4 as well, it's just going to be such a tough turnaround from Classic at that stage. Classic's had such a great tournament as well. Just Kira is a real beast in these online cups and online qualifiers and stuff. And right now, he is looking like he might just go all the way today. It's not there yet. We've still got a while to play out, but let's see what happens. As I would Mines do burrow up on the back of the natural once again. Medevac at least was shot down, so this is the end of it. Is that Widow Mine splashed onto the other Widow Mine, right? Or am I crazy? Maybe the Stalker shot it. It looked like the Widow Mine splashed onto the other Widow Mine to get the kill. That was kind of funny. Yo, by the way, guys, thanks for all the love. Kicking us off into a level 3 high train. I'll do all the shoutouts again properly after this game. If you guys want to throw a bit more hype in, hit level 4 or something, I don't know. But thank you so much for all the love and support of the tournament and the stream in general. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so, so much. Stalkers are going to be positioned at the front here. See what they maybe want to try and do is Raven and our Siege Tank. Obviously, just chilling. It's an 8-worker lead for Classic, and that part of this is great. What isn't great is all the times he's had to pull the workers. Bless me, sorry, sneezing. What isn't great is all the time you had to pull the workers. This is like a sawtooth income graph. Yeah, it's a sawtooth income graph. And that's just kind of every single time that happens. It's just so much going in the way of Cure. Now, that's a big blink, and he gets Combat Shield. If only it was Stim, would have been even better. But hey, I think we settle even for just cancelling Combat Shield, to be honest. I think just cancelling Combat Shield's already a good start, but a drop in the main. And well, now I bet you wish you didn't have Stim. Oh no. Stalker's taking some hits, obviously trying to blink back out of trouble as best as possible. Oh, we do have, obviously, the Stalker's continuing through, and our Marines coming in, and just going to have our probes back up in towards the main as well. Setting up for all of that. And our charge is going to be completing from Classic. As the Bio Army is going across the left-hand side. So a lot of Bio units moving over to the left. Medevac, the Raven, is just going to be setting up as well. Big push from Cure, and this is where Classic's going to struggle. All that lost economy earlier in the game, this is where it hurts the most before you have a chance to really recover. Yes, we've got Storm. Can Storm save this? Well, that's brilliant feedback to start. Raven does not get the auto turrets off to initiate. Gives you a little bit of a chance, if nothing else, as these High Templar are going to go slow-moing forwards. First Widowmine shot is good. Second Widowmine shot is going to be amazing as well. And the first Storm lands on the tank. We do get rid of the Raven. Q has to back it up, but 13 probes are dead. Widowmines are dominating this game right now, guys, and it's just a little bit too much for Classic to deal with. There's still a mine in the main base. It's not being dealt with either. Classic's economy is continuing to fall to pieces. That's going to be seeing the Widowmine going down. We do have the couple medevacs of Cure coming back into the center. Zealots and High Templar still joined up over on the left-hand side. And Shockwaves is going to be coming up as we make our way into Ghosts. Obviously, Cure trying to get an answer to the High Templar up and running. That makes a lot of sense, of course. Getting something that can answer the HTs. As you see, oh, massive catch for Classic. Kills a full medevac. That's the sort of thing that can swing the game a little bit. Classic getting himself on supply block. No upgrades in the game from Classic, by the way. So something to keep in mind as the 1-1 upgrades of Q are going to be finishing up in a moment. Templar lift into that prison. Well, there is a bit of a chance again, I would say, as Classic comes into the game once more with the snipe on that medevac. Definitely helping. Definitely putting things back in the right direction, at least. Still like where Kira's at. I still like his army, especially with ghosts involved, but okay. I mean, I like him more for Classic than I did in a long time. I mean, it's still not great. I still think Kira's winning. Hey, but now he's a little out of position. Okay, well, these High Templar need to stop. Oh, that was disgusting! Storms all over this Terran army as they insta-dropped out of the prism and just got to work. The Natural's being ransacked. You can't break through the storms on the third, apparently. There was going to be more storms available, but the High Templars actually dodged away. Oh, well, the High Templars got hit by an EMP. They then dodged the next EMP. The next High Templars do get hit as well. No Archon Morph. The Natural is dying during this. Is Classic is pushing through. Can he break through the army on the third base? Probably not. He doesn't have a lot of units there, but he is killing off all of the reinforcements in the main. The Natural command center is about to die. And Classic, what a move. The storms were beautiful. A Widowmine connects there, chasing some Stalkers away. Another couple of Zealots coming through. My goodness, that was something else from Classic. Those storms were deadly. He was storming like I swear the High Templar was still in the warp prison when it dropped the storm. And Cure just getting a little bit overrun there. He still has a standing army, but obviously no natural expansion anymore. Cure is the one that needs to make a play. We were thought that Cure might have been on his way to a 3-0 lead, but Classic says no. Not yet, at least. Giving myself some chances in Lightshade, and let's see if it's enough to maybe make the difference as Cure will come across the map. No tech units really remaining, no ghosts on the map, only Widowmines. More SCVs already going down as the Zealot shows up. Big first storm on that Bio Army again, and I think that's just going to be the telltale thing that you just can't really do anything here as Q. You can't push in 1-1 upgrades. Well, Storm don't care about your upgrades, buddy. That's one thing that Storm is very, very good at. Not giving a flying about any upgrades you might have. Units come back around from the left-hand side, so just moving around there, just getting set up a little bit, and Classic continuing to defend. Now there's a drop heading to the top side of the map, and that drop might be the next little bit of potential comeback from Cure. Let's see how well Classic can deal with this. He's got some Zealots and Stalkers positioned in the main. Yep, good defense. I mean, just in position. That's all you need. The High Templars were looking for some feedbacks, it seems. Well, okay, so some High Templars looking for some feedback. So we do see our army coming back around this right-hand side. Okay, War Prism is going to continue down to the south, and Classic again, 40 supply lead. We still are only on 2 bases here as Cure. I don't know what he's waiting for now. Like, I don't know what the next part of this is. You know, he's working on... Like, it's not like his army's getting much better over time, and he's sitting on way less economy, so anything he does get is something like Classic gets as well. It's not like Classic is... it's not like Cure is getting, like, some mega tech units out that he didn't have previously. That's why I thought he might just commit and go, but maybe he wants to try and be the player to make the defense and then drop against it. I suppose that makes some sense as well, right? And I guess if his initial drops had maybe gotten through, it would have made more sense that he was sitting back waiting for those drops. He kills the third base of Classic. Unfortunately, he's going to lose his own third base, and when you already don't have a natural, that obviously does not go very well. He only has a handful of Marines and Marauders left to make something happen on his own, on his opponent's natural expansion. Classic will recall a good portion of units, as needs to make sure. I mean, that's a lot of Zealots to leave behind, mind you. That's a lot of units left behind over here. Is, well, I mean, still keeping that third base down, but Classic's fourth location will just become the new third in just a few moments. And it's a main base orbital of Q are going to fly over to the natural, take that position. And it looks as though Q is going to be able to get himself up into a little bit of economy, but I mean, he basically has to make this army happen. Hey, this would be one way to do it. This prison was very low HP, and killing off a whole bunch of High Templar for free is nice. At least they got some storms off. There are still other High Templar, though, and hitting feedbacks across the Ghost. Well, one EMP came down on the High Templar that have been dropping feedbacks, so they had already used their energy. That storm could have been a little bit better. That was more on the Protoss side of things than the Terran side of things, unfortunately. We have got double the supply here from Classic. He is just looking for one final fight. I mean, I feel like you can take it. This is a very low amount of Marines, as here we go. High Templars are flanking from the top side as well. The storms all game long have been disgusting. Love the Wardy Storms in the chat during the game, as Classic is going to take game 3, and he is next game, as obviously the games keep on coming. And it is now game number 4, with in the top left-hand side not having his chance at tournament point just yet. It is our Red Terran player getting stormed out of the last game. It is Cure in the upper left-hand corner. In the bottom right corner of the map from Alpha X, our blue Protoss player is Classic. Let's see what the heck he is going to bring to the table here for game 4 of this best of 7. Can he take another map and tie us up? He, honestly, in Jagannatha, he kind of rolled over and died. Had some cool ideas, but made too much of a mistake. Early game and on the follow-up. Beckett, he was really doing a good job. And he had me believing, if nothing else. So, I'm excited, you know. I could have seen how this series could be 2-1 the other way around. He needs to up his early game, though. Because his early game is what's letting him down. Taking worker damage super early. Letting Widow Mines do substantial amounts of damage. All that is, you know, those are things which you just need to do better against at the end of the day. It really, really is. Just something you have to step up and do something more about for sure. Pulling back down the bottom right, our factory is going to be setting up in the main A reactor on the barracks. And just going to be seeing the Adept Chrono boosting out of the gateway. So getting that up and running as our Stargate is coming through. Back to a Stargate opening. Yeah, I would actually, on Ramanda's side, I think I'd really love if Classic just went like straight to Phoenix, banked up Phoenix against like a Widow Mine drop that he expects to show up. I feel like that sort of setup, and then just use those Phoenix to really make sure Q doesn't get a lot of damage done early. I actually think that could really set Classic into a really good position. Because his problem has been early game, and if he can use the Phoenix to deny, to defend early game, which is what Phoenix do very well, I think I'd kind of like that. He is going to go Oracle. We'll see if he Phoenixes on the follow-up. Definitely a bit of a choice there. As our Adept heads down the bottom right, coming back home for a few moments' time. Gonna get this up and running for a moment or two. Just gonna see the couple of Hellions into the main base. The Phoenix is gonna lift up one of those Hellions already, and it's just gonna be seeing the other Hellion showing up as well, putting some good damage onto the probes. A couple of workers going down already. And the Widow Mines continuing through from Cure, so just gonna get the couple of Widow Mines continuing up, as we do have a medevac of Widow Mines already heading down the left side of the map. So down the left side of the map we go, Q with the 4 Widow Mines to maybe try and make something happen. And we do have Phoenix production starting. He actually ended up cancelling the Oracle and going into these Phoenix, which I love. And like I said, that's exactly what I kind of wanted. The Phoenix, and if you keep them and bank them up, even freaking better. Wait for this Widow Mine drop, jump on it when it arrives, make the Terran's life really, really sad. And I like Terran, but I think that's how I would like to see this this game playing out. The Medevac's actually waited a long time in that bottom left corner. He's going to move forward now. Maybe try and just throw off the usual timing a bit, right? Maybe wants to combo with this other Medevac coming in, but those mines get lifted immediately, and that is the power of the Phoenix. However, they don't have lifts for every single mine, and now this Medevac's going to draw them further out of position. Don't think Classic saw with this pylon this Medevac showing up. Phoenix do get that cleanup. Probes are moving to the 3rd base already, without a care in the world, seemingly, as they just get themselves mining over there. And now 4 more Widow Mines are going to make their way to the bottom right. Phoenix are coming back around. Widow Mine actually got a few probes, huh? Sorry, I didn't expect that to quite do so much in the end. So 4 probes going down from that Widow Mine. Uh-oh, another Widow Mine here. Stalker goes down. And a little messy down there. Obviously an Oracle on the way up to provide some detection, because now we're talking about Cloaked Mines. And another drop in the natural. Classic, no. We just put a cool point on the board. We just recovered from a game where we let Widow Mines do way too much. That's going to be lift, and at least these mines will go down. But yeah, we kind of need the detection right now, because... Okay, the good news is obviously Classic is just pumping out probes during this, and the only real damage he's taking is from these mines. There's not like a major army or anything after it. He'll actually have the cannon here, so he doesn't need the, yeah, he doesn't really need the Oracle to use its Revelation here, at least. That means he can use the Oracle Revelation on the mines over here, or these new mines showing up. That, of course, would be a cool idea, and that would be a much better way to go about this. The Stalker's going to try and fight from afar, and the Phoenix just waiting for their chance. The problem is, if the Phoenix lifted one of these mines, it might be so close enough for the other mines to show up. Medevac did sneak away. Remember that this is expensive, of course, for the Terran, and Terran's actually, despite all the workers lost, Terran has traded terribly. 1,900 to 900 resources lost, 1,000 resource loss difference in a game where you actually haven't mined too much more until very recently. So only just now you start to mine a lot more. As the 3rd moves down, you still got to transfer your workers over. Classic, obviously, is now back to mining, and there's no more Widow Mines really in the bases, so the mining time lost is now done, right? We're not going to see any more of that for the foreseeable future, at least. Well, it wasn't pretty, like I say, losing 12 workers, but you actually, at the end, look how many Widow Mines he killed. He killed 14 Widow Mines, so that's less than a probe per Widow Mine. So while some Widow Mines did very well, on average, the Widow Mines did worse than you would usually want them to. I think that's what is really important to take note of, just how many mines were used in this. But yeah, Classic, I actually kind of like where he's ending up. Now let's see where he takes it into the mid-game from here, without being, because he isn't super far behind or anything this time around, right? This Widow Mine going to burrow. Classic sees it, 1 probe to give itself up, and the Zealots will charge through to clean that out. Another mine in the main base lifted before it burrows, and this Medevac is dead as well. So again, oh no, whoa, no, whoa! That's where the damage is going to come from. I was just going to praise him for being like, well, that's, 2 mines for 1 probe. That's good as well. And there the damage comes. Another Widow Mine drop shows up. And this is the power of the Widow Mine drops. That they can just keep showing up every single time and just be repeatedly annoying. Oh, that's kind of rough. We'll kill off one more here, lifting that with the Phoenix, but... oh, what a heartbreak. Just as it felt like Classic really did get into a good position, 14 more probes go down, and obviously that's just kind of brutal. Shouldn't each mineral line have a cannon by now? Wouldn't have made a difference here, though, would it? Those probes would have still died before the cannon killed them, so... he doesn't feel the need to invest into it because he's comfortable he has the detection. He needs to clean them up after. The problem is the cannon doesn't stop the Widow Mines firing initially. The cannon provides detection for after, you know, so... yeah, it's not really needed, and it isn't, right? Detection absolutely wasn't his issue in that case. It's just actually pulling the probes away. So Archon gonna get into a bit of a weird place. I mean, Classic gets into an interesting position in the sense that, you know, Kira's army's completely out of position, so he's gonna have to fight up his own ramp to, you know, take part in this fight. Don't think Classic should necessarily be chasing so far. I mean, he's killing a lot of SCVs. He's got depots he can pick off. Kira is just out in the middle of nowhere, and now being supply blocked too. Phoenix will chase down the orbital a little bit as well. Zelds are going to go charging in after those SCVs. So chasing those down. Orbital taking a little bit more damage. Bio Army collecting up together. Second Robo Facility and a Robo Big coming through as the Zelds are going to go charging forward and a bunch of SCVs dropping off. I mean, 25 workers killed. Classic. Have we just done it again where we just turned this game around in a moment where it felt like all was seemingly becoming lost? Maybe we have. Maybe we have. 26 workers killed is nothing to laugh at. And more Zelds showing up for another counterattack. Straight into a Widow Mine, though, and that's already a little painful. I'm sure it's going to just continue from there as well, as we'll have ourselves a continued setup then. Just going to be seeing our Bioforce back down to the south. Looking for another bit of a push. A few Phoenix that are going to try and get a Widow Mine, but that's going to cost you a Phoenix, so that ain't so good. Classic is fighting. Well, at least he takes the initial engagement. He's got Disruptors on the way. I'm telling you, maybe he does have a little bit of a plan for this game in the end. We're going to drop down these rocks. The Marines are going to stem forwards. Those force fields keep the Terran back, but they also stop your Zealots from doing what they want to do. Prism in the main with the Disruptors coming out defensively. Lots of potential. These Disruptors are going to find the Terran very clumped up right now. Kira not looking away. He is looking over here. I thought the Prism maybe should have gone before the Disruptors showed up. If the Prism makes a move and then Kira's looking to deal with that, maybe that's the distraction you need. Honestly, a lot of Zealots right now and not a lot of Widow Mines. The Phoenix need to keep lifting up these mines. Every time a mine gets lifted, that splash damage you're missing that you would otherwise really want to have. Phoenix are killing all of the Medivacs during this as well, by the way, so you're going to be left with a Medivac-less Bio Army as the Disruptor shots are connecting pretty well. One does get cancelled, though. Classic, not quite enough units on the tail end of this. 2 Colossi on the way up would be game changers. Oh, no battery on this base either. We're going to lift up a few more units. The Widow Mine goes down. Low HP Bio units get chased away. Marines and Marauders again hunted as the Phoenix are doing a fantastic job of helping to turn this final battle around. Still picking up the Widow Mines. The few Zealots will not stop. And behind all of this, the 2 Colossi will be spawning. However, we also have 2-2 upgrades about to kick in from Kira. And with 2-2 upgrades kicking in, he might be just that little bit stronger than he has been thus far. And maybe you can't quite lean on the Zealots as much as you have been, because they have had, even if just slightly, an upgrade lead as well. So things to think about as this game will, for the moment, settle down. Just the tiniest amount, but my goodness, I mean, a fantastic game of TVP. And Classic is does a really good job of turning lost games around, not once but twice now. Can he go all the way with it? Can he tie the series up with this? Still going to be difficult. He is up in workers. He's got Colossus up, and I love that. Hitting a new just wave of splash damage is just having splash damage in general, right? I mean, initially just seeing the Disruptors was a blessing. Now seeing the Colossi should do that, even more so. 5 Phoenix still remain as well, so you've still got a little bit of baseline defense against the against Vikings and stuff too. So not full on Phoenix Colossus here, but yeah, a little bit of support for the Colossi, and that's obviously really good to have. Don't think anyone's ever complaining when they have a bit of aid for their Colossus. The Phoenix gets shot down. Or shot away, I should say, not actually going down. More or less dead, but hanging on somehow. The magic of Protoss keeps that Phoenix up and running. Splitting army off to that right side. Obviously, Kyo wants to try and make this a bit more of a multi-pronged game. He's going to keep on expanding now, too, that he settles down. He's going to go straight for the 5th base, so no delay there at all. Starting to try and expand faster than the Protoss player is a brave move, but it might just work out for him. Medivacs will drop into the natural expansion as a few Zealots will warp in. Widowmines want to start burrowing up, a few probes going down. That's a really good position, obviously, when you're trying to fight with Zealots here because, well, everything's just choked up, so that's horrible. Drop in the main base. Okay, that's a massive drop as well, and again, SimCity is going to be an issue. More units were actually already on the way here, though, so that's something, but oh my god. A probe massacre on the 4th base as Kira is just everywhere. I felt like Classic was on top of 1 or 2 of these attacks, but all of them? Absolutely not. He's trading okay army-wise, though, but if he... I mean, that's great, but then 22 probes, guys. 22 probes don't just grow on trees. If they did, we have to get some lumberjacks, because that would be a whole new way to get some Protoss economy. Probes are truly going to be the problem now, as we see our Bio Army going to come back around the upper side. 4 High Templar coming through, the Zealots all building. And with 4 Colossi, we've got ourselves a push to the top of the map. A Remarauder Widowmine is going to be... If it fights against 4 Colossi, it ain't going to have a good time. That's the thing. And that's why Kua is continuing to, even seeing this army go across the map, continue to send his army across the map to try and trade out. Prism here is going to survive as well, so we will have warp-ins into this. This is just an orbital, by the way. Didn't realize this was just the main base relocated for the 4th. As we do see the 4th base of Classic going down. Remember that there's a 5th base from Kua to the left side. Classic knows about it right now, as he's going to have his own 3rd base already in trouble. Full-on base trade mode is what we commit into then. +3 attack is just going to finish in time for Classic, who did get some probes on the map. Obviously, Kua has the left side. He's got SCV's top right. Well, you got to make sure you deal it with these reinforcements as best you can, because you don't want to be trading badly here at all. Again, Colossi might be the one thing to really save Classic in this game. Colossi are the units that there's still just not really a proper answer for after all of this time. So it is very possible that even down on army supply, you could maybe still take a very good fight, because you're fighting with Colossi versus, well, basically no Colossus defense. So possibilities. Probes need to decide where they're going to build their replacement Nexus in the near future. So if you don't have to worry about that just yet, the left side is still a stronghold of Terran, apparently. We have an observer showing up, and that will clean out these final couple of Widow Mines as well. So just going to be able to get rid of those already, and we push on through. You know, everything in the main, we need a Nexus kind of soon, honestly. I mean, he's not rushing, he's not run out of structures just yet, but it is kind of a thing over time, right? As Classic is going to work his way to the left. He knows that this is where the next, base of the Terran is, and I honestly don't really agree as... okay. Not the end of the world. I don't really agree with actually kind of building a lot of your production here, because you're not here to actually defend this base, so now it's the obvious place to show up and to kill off that production. Classic will expand to the low ground, what was the 4th base of Kua, so that has mine for a while. Landry will take down some army supply here with it. I mean, a few Zealots. It's a lot of the extra SCVs that Kua had starting to fall, though. He's still just killing off a lot of structures, as obviously now at this stage we are going to have to make sure, as these Widow Mines get caught, Phoenix can make sure they go down, and not going to chase the Medivacs. There is an orbital bottom left. As more SCVs have been denied, the Zealots are going to get away without an issue. Obviously, with Phoenix up, you can't force a draw here either as Kua, because the Phoenix, for now, can at least kill buildings that are hiding. You have a new base up to the top. Oh! A Widow Mine nearly kills the Prism. Well, the Prism is massive, because the Prism is going to be your micro potential on the Colossus, etc. So it's really important you don't let that go down, and that means you've got to be 100% attentive to where it is flying, because otherwise, if it flies into another Widow Mine, well, that's only going to spell trouble for you, as Zealots continue through over here. We have one observer in the game as well, so really not a lot of detection. And remember that those Widow Mines are not going to have a good time. Oh, you're not going to have a good time against Widow Mines if you let them fire multiple times, so important to have detection. Really you don't want to let them, have a first attempt of firing either, so if you can kill them on the way into a fight, that's where the observer becomes really important. Why is Kura looking to fight, guys? I do not agree with this at all, but Classic isn't really ready. Two Colossi in a bad place. He's trying to pull them back. I didn't realize Kura also has a fight on the left side, though. So pushing on in, the probes pull in. That's the last probes going down. Widowmines are lifted by the Phoenix, but Classic doesn't have enough to fight from two angles. And that's where Kura is going to overrun. And he is going to win out on Ramanda's side to put himself on match and tournament point. Kura makes it happen coming in from both sides. I was like, wait, why is he setting up to fight? But yes, the army on the left makes a lot of sense and offsets a lot of that Colossus damage too. GG. The game deciding factor at the end. And I think more than anything, Classic just wasn't ready to fight. He wasn't expecting Kura to come running in. And that essence of surprise really went a long, long way in Kura's favor. He is up 3-1 in this best of 7 grand finals, bottom left. One map from being the summer champion. And walking out of here with $1,500. Top right-hand side, our Blue Protoss player, Altaris Classic. Fantastic first main WardiTV event back. Very excited to see more from him in the future, because right now it feels like it's only really a been a good time, you know. As we have got ourselves setting up in game number 5. Yeah, it's been great to see Classic doing so well. I mean, a win here would have been like a fairy tale storyline, right? But even the finals is an amazing achievement. It's good to see him looking good and competitive. I'm very excited about all of that for sure. Really excited to see more from him. As this probe comes through the bottom, he's going to have a little bit of a peek in to just say, hey, what's up? What's going on? Cybercore coming down after Nexus again, so a lot of Nexus before core builds. Classic kind of got punished for that a little bit earlier with some of the proxy stuff. Let's get ourselves up and a running. Reactor coming through. And an extra barracks from Kura, so we're already going to see him committing into a multiple racks opener. Wants to play very bio-heavy. Would be pretty good against a lot of what Classic has been doing, to be fair. A lot of just Stargates, saving up Phoenix and stuff. That's the kind of thing that backfires a lot against 3 racks. Double Reaper, though, from Kura. Now, Marine Lord, I was casting with Marine Lord the other day when we did the Rotti and Wardy Cup on the Monday. And Marine Lord was telling me all about how... You know, he was telling me all about how this was a matchup where, you know, every time he goes for this kind of double Reaper setup, he's like, it delays it so much. You know, this build has a lot of crisp timings to be able to be really impactful and to punish and stuff. And he felt like the double Reaper was a very bad thing because he just never really said it did enough. It was kind of funny because the Reapers, I think, killed like 4 or 5 pros, but then everything was just so far behind anyway for Clem, and then Clem still made the game work out in his favor. So yeah, it's kind of funny. So even if these Reapers, they say, get 2 or 3 workers, I wouldn't be too bothered. Classic is currently on 2 Adepts that are just not here. So 2 workers going down. The Reaper's already doing fairly well to start off with. 4 workers do die, and that's going to be 5, right? And 1 Reaper gets out. The other Reaper's still alive, but maybe in a bit more trouble. They're actually both going to end up looping out and getting out alive. So 5 workers and the Reapers are still alive. Oh yeah, I mean, sign me up for that. I think 5 workers is serious amounts of damage, and even though the Reapers will delay you a bunch, I think for 5 probes it's okay. And now the Oracle is used defensively, of course, chasing down Reapers, using its energy not across the map, and that's always a good sign too. And this Reaper even got to come back into the natural, might have even just seen the second Oracle starting. So amazing information early, and amazing damage done, and Kura is already off to a wonderful start in now what is the, 5th game? Looking for maybe a 4-1 if that start can lead to a very powerful bio push. I mean, it's going to be tough to see Classic getting ready for that with this Stargate production too. 2 extra gates are going to be putting him on the right track, though. The 2 extra gates definitely put him in the right direction to be able to deal with a push like that. So that is something to look at least. Stimpak, Combat Shield all coming up here, and take all missile turret shots, hitting the Oracles, and actually they're going to go for an attempted cancel on Stim. Now, a lot of the units are already going across the map. Stim's going to finish though, so Those Oracles are going to run themselves dry of energy, and now the Oracles are just not at home to defend, right? And that's a whole problem in itself. You know, these Oracles are energyless, so even if they got home, they wouldn't be able to do much. You're talking about 3 Stalkers, 3 Adepts, defenses that aren't ready on the third base that's building against, you know, close to 20 Marines. My friends, this might be Q's stim to the championship as he gets rid of the pylon. He's going to go for the Adepts here. 1, 2, well, 3. I mean, he'll just continue for Stalkers. He did target the Oracle for a moment. Warping in Stalkers. Stalkers can't run away. No battery on this natural, so we will continue to chase for units, and that will turn into probes, as eventually they will decide to pull into this, but that's not going to go well either. And Q comes across the map. We do see the Oracles re-engaging, and that will be a few more Marines shaved off here, but they get one more Stalker kill. They'll put themselves in the corner, and it was the stim to see Q become your WardiTV Summer Champion of 2021, taking home $1,500 in the main event. Made some money along the way as well in the preliminaries, etc. And got knocked out there by Bunny in the semis, but he showed up today. Classic in the finals might not have been the match he was expecting, but it was the match he got. GG's, well played. Congrats to Q. He played a fantastic series, and honestly, just a fantastic tournament in general. GG's and well played.